Today is one of those days where I'm super happy to be a content creator because one, I can bring DoorDash into a video. Two, I got a unicorn offer that came in that you guys have to see. But did that unicorn offer come from DoorDash? Well, we're gonna see in a little bit. But additionally, as of recording, as of right now today, we are September the 2nd, which means I have the full revenue report from August for YouTube and Amazon, so you're gonna wanna see those numbers. But additionally, I have a channel announcement that I'm gonna be announcing now to keep you guys on your toes. This stuff is all gonna be set at random, just to make sure you're paying attention. So stay tuned for the rest of this video. Now things are super real nowadays, guys. Look at this. This is all like typed up scripted stuff that I did to make sure that I got everything included for you lovelies for the course of doing these videos. Now, last time I left off with you lovelies, we covered 7 days, and I'm gonna keep on covering all my days. My breakdowns is in one video, it's gonna be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And in the next video, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, there we go. And then the next video, it's going to be Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I kind of like the breakdown components of that. So last week, or the last time you saw me, we covered 7 days. And for 15 hours, I think I said 16 in my last video, but it was 15 hours for gig work, YouTube, and I absolutely have not touched Amazon in weeks. I scored $410 for 15 hours worked. So not too shabby. But how did we do going forward? So my work week technically starts Thursday for me because I started doing these videos on August the 22nd, which happened to be a Thursday. Yes, it was. So I kept with that momentum. So let's continue onwards. August the 29th was a Thursday, and we're gonna start off with the YouTube and the Amazon earnings. So coming in on YouTube, I got $21.04. And then on Amazon, I got a nice little $2.50. But you know, we're not going broke about that. It's self-employment. Amazon, I literally have still done nothing for it, so I'm cool with that. But as for gig work, so I went out just before around roughly 6 p.m. because I needed to go put some gas in the gas tank. So we're starting off this week with $45 worth of gas. But getting to the pumps, my gosh, I have not seen them this crowded since the pandemic days. The gas was about $1.50 per liter, and if the dashboard camera caught the footage, because I haven't checked it yet, you'll be seeing cars racing in, zigzagging in and out, backwards parking, and the whole shabam. So everybody was kind of like lining up and fighting. And so I have not seen it like that, so I kind of just gassed up and got out as quickly as I can. But then after that, I started to drive around. And even though Uber already verified my pictures a few days ago, it looks like they wanted it again. So I had to give them another picture after too many rejected orders, but nothing was worth taking on Uber. So I decided to jump on DoorDash. Now, for those that don't know, the majority of the time I go on Uber. There's no rules, there's no like Dash Now, it's pretty easy and straightforward. But of course, I believe strongly in multi-apping. So I went on DoorDash and they had a Dash Now feature. And this was about 6:15, and so I was able to secure it to about 7 o'clock. Now first, the offer that they give me is a horrible $9.75 for 15.5 kilometers for Dirty Taco for a drop-off way too far away. Now, here's the numbers that we got to look at here. This order from DoorDash came in at 6:18 p.m. for a deliver by 7:09. So can you imagine that? You're going for almost an hour, and you're going 15 kilometers away, so you're going pretty far for $9. And we all know somebody probably took it, but that's a horrendous order. I mean, I'm hoping there's a hidden tip in there for somebody, but you never know. But I got my acceptance rate being told to me that it would be 3%. And you know what? That's fine by me because I'm used to that with DoorDash. So I continued on, and 10 minutes later, before 6:30 p.m., I ended up getting this awesome Uber order for $11, 15 minutes, only 2.4 kilometers for Deli Kebab. And considering I was already parked at the Deli Kebab, it was perfect for me. The client wanted 8 items, and when I saw that, I figured there might actually be a hidden tip, which I will be talking about a little bit later on. Now, from the span of pickup to delivery, the entire order took essentially only 15 minutes. And that's actually what they were quoting me that the time would be for that order. So the food was ready when I got there, and after I was done my drop off, I resumed with DoorDash. Now, at this point, again, I'm getting more horrible offers from DoorDash, but it's nothing new. We do see that. They gave me this $5.25 for 5.4 kilometers. And no, my lovelies, I'm not clickbaiting. I did take a DoorDash offer. Keep looking. But this was for KFC. So, nope, I did not take that one. But I was glad to accept this one from DoorDash. Come on, I can't hate on DoorDash all the time, even though I call them Door Trash. $11 for 5.7 kilometers for Fiore Pizza. Now, as you lovely know, this is not the first time I've gone to that place. In one of my last videos, I went there as well, so they're pretty common in my area. So I went there. I love the fact that the 5.7 kilometers does factor in where I was located to the restaurant and then to the customer's location. So everything is considered. Plus, on DoorDash, there's no tip baiting like we do see on Uber. So I arrived at the restaurant and the customer wanted a 17-inch pizza and the family fries. And guess what? They lived 2 kilometers away from the restaurant. So like the 3.7 was me essentially getting there, and then 2 kilometers just to basically drop it off. The food was ready when I got there, and DoorDash is much better than Uber at confirming the pickup. So what they had me do is take a picture of the receipt for the customer. This way that goes back to the customer and it confirms that I got the right order. So Uber does not do a strategy like this. They used to do it that you could scan a QR code. They still do scan a QR code, which we're actually going to see a little bit later on. But with the scan a QR code, it's not the exact same method as what DoorDash has, because with Uber you can bypass it. So it's not very handy when you think about it. So I took the picture, and then 6 minutes later, I got the order dropped off. And we did get a tiny little hidden tip of 81 cents. So we got a total of $11.81 for that Fiore pizza order. So I can't complain with that. And since it was past 7 p.m., by the time that the order was done, my dash with DoorDash was completed. So I ended up driving back to Brossard area to see if we had any more good orders. Now, of course, I gotta turn my paper because it's all hand typed. I can't believe I'm doing this nowadays for videos, but it's actually like I'm so much more energetic and having fun with this. Anyways, I went through my DoorDash orders to see apparently when was the last time I even did a DoorDash order, because I was curious to see. And for anybody wondering when was the last time I did a DoorDash order, can I get deactivated if I haven't done orders in like 60 days? Well, the last time I did was at the end of June. So no surprise there. I don't do a lot of orders. That's why I'm trying to get back out and do them. But there you go. End of June is when I did my last one. As I was driving through the cross streets, I received this Uber order for $7, 17 minutes, 3.3 kilometers for 3 Amigos. Now, I have talked about how much I don't like doing 3 Amigo orders, but I ended up doing it because of the time that it came in, and I wasn't getting too many orders the way I wanted them. So it was a very small order, but for the price and for the time, I took it. They just wanted 2 items, so I figured the tip would probably remain $5, and I was comfortable with that. And the order was actually ready within 2 minutes, because sometimes, depending on the time that you go out, 3 Amigos is always like jam-packed, but around 7:30, they're less likely to be extremely busy, so they kind of put their Uber orders first, which is kind of nice. So then I dropped it off smoothly a few minutes later. Then I did go in and check my tip. So remember, if you just heard a few minutes ago, I mentioned when I did that deli kebab that there was 8 items and I was confident that there was a hidden tip. Well, that's because there was. I checked back and the original order was for $11 and I ended up getting $18.16. So for a hidden tip, I mean, I'm not going to complain at all. That's a nice little hidden tip. And that can really help buffer out 30 minutes to 45 minutes without getting an order in. So I was very appreciative of that for sure. So I ended up getting almost $7 more than what I was quoted. And then I decided to drive back up and down Taschereau to see if there was any last orders, because it was around, I don't know, probably around the 8 o'clock mark. And I wanted to see if I can get any more. So sometimes what I would do, and yes, I do often like to stick to Brossard, but I do go to other markets. But what I end up doing is going all the way down Taschereau to the point that I'm almost near the La Prairie market, and then I would swing back around. And when I swung back around, I was not able to screen capture it, so I did the best that I could. But I did get this $9 order for only 1 kilometer for KFC. Now, knowing 1 kilometer for KFC, that tells me that it's the hotel that I get all the time right next to the Scores. It's kind of in between the Scores and the KFC. Now, it was for quite a few items. How many items? 5 items. But it was strange to me too, because Uber was telling me there was orders and there was drinks in the orders. And I'm looking at the order and there's no drinks. So I talked to the cashier and they said that there was no drinks in the order. So I just took it and I made sure I screenshot it to show if I had to reference anything. It's not just for the purpose of the video, it's to cover myself that there was no drinks in this order. And I was a little bit concerned going to a hotel to do a drop off in the evening, because you never know. It's 1 kilometer away. Can somebody be drunk or intoxicated or something? But it was actually a senior couple, and they did confirm to me that there was no drinks in the order, so that made me feel better. So other than that, I had no orders for the rest of that evening. But here's what I did get. I cleared with Uber $35.25, so that was for over 2 hours. And for DoorDash, I cleared $11.81. So we take the $11.81 and we combine it with the Uber. So at least I was at $46 for around the 2 hour mark. So not too bad for a Thursday, for a total of $70.61 for that day. So that's combining Uber, DoorDash, Amazon, and YouTube, $70.61. And I really only put 2.5 hours into the work, so I can't complain. Now, before I get ready to go over my next day, I will give you my channel announcement. So currently right now, my son is only starting back up in school now. He's in a progressive stage, meaning that he goes for like 2.5 hours, especially like tomorrow. But after that, he's progressing into full-time again. So I have a 5-year-old. And so because of this, what I do plan on doing is in the next couple of weeks, I am hoping that as long as editing keeps going as smoothly as it is, it's time consuming, but I'm hoping to go back to 2 videos a week, and it's going to be involving this content. So if you're really vibing this content, make sure you have notifications turned on for Thursdays and Mondays, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because I plan on keeping up with this momentum. I'm feeling so much better about doing it. So that's my channel announcement, and let's keep on going forward. So the next day I did go out on Friday. So we had Friday, August the 24th. For YouTube though, we got to go through this first. YouTube, I secured $17.52. And for Amazon, I secured $15.43. So again, Amazon is based on who buys what. And then of course, YouTube is ad revenue. So I got out Friday evening at around 6 p.m. when I received this order while driving on Tasherel for $9 for 16 kilometers, so 16 minutes. If I accepted a $9 for 16 kilometers, somebody please turn off my channel. For 4.9 kilometers for Sushi Shop with a drop-off in St. Hubert. Now, I really did debate on taking this one because I'm not very comfortable going all the way past Kimber and getting that done. But I ended up accepting it because I figured that why not? It's a good kickstart. It was a simple 4-item order, nothing fancy, but at least it was a nice little $6 tip. So I ended up getting the order as soon as I walked in, and I even had a super smooth drop-off. However, after that, I got no good orders for over an hour. Now, keep in mind, my lovelies, this was a Friday evening. So Friday evenings are supposed to be a lot more progressive. The last video where I filmed on the Friday, it was really good, but this one was not very good. So I kept driving around into the Brossard, and I parked in my favorite spot, we all know, by the Scores, for a little while, but still nothing came in. So then I decided to go driving around more in Brossard when I got an interesting double-stacked order. Now this one is what I call the unicorn order. And by unicorn order, it's a rare order, it's a pricey order, and you let me know if you would have accepted it too, but I think we all know we would have. This was on Uber. So the unicorn order was not DoorDash, but it goes on to Uber. It was for $27 for $27.56 for 43 minutes. It was a double stack, 12.7 kilometers. Now we all know how I feel about the kilometers, but if I'm getting $2 per kilometer and a little bit more, I'm gonna take it. And it ended up being for Shoji Sushi, but as well for Fulam Express, with both drop-offs being in Longueuil. Now, Longueuil is not my favorite place to go and drop off. There's so many cross streets. Sometimes it's the, what would you call it, a one-way street. So it can be a little bit distracting for me as a driver. But for the cost, and I was only securing $9 prior to that on a Friday night, I definitely took that order. So I accepted it, and I knew that sushi place because I've been there before in the past. and their parking is the most narrow parking you can find, and it was full. So I parked in the back, and they were very crowded on the inside, and I did wait about 10 to 15 minutes. But for $27, you tell me you're not going to wait 10, 15 minutes? And while you're waiting for this one to be completed, in the back of my mind, because I know Fulam Express, I go there all the time for orders, I knew they would have it ready. So I ended up getting it, and then for the price, again, I wasn't leaving it. And the sushi order had 8 items. Now, I did check the Fulam order, and it had a combo. So for those that don't know, a combo is supposed to be made for 2, sometimes 3 people. It's a combo with a variety of food, normally $60 average. But they also had an additional 8 additional items, which meant to me that this was definitely a big order. Now, when I ended up taking the sushi order, I did check, and it was an $80 sushi order. And this is where Uber had me scan the QR code, because even Uber indicated that this order had more items. So I scanned it, and then I went to Fulam, and this order was also ready. Now, I did check the price as well on the Fulam order, and the Fulam order ended up being a huge $147 order. So I ended up taking both of theirs to the drop-off locations, and the first one was not too far in Longueuil, and the second one was towards Roland-Terrien, which I'm familiar with because actually one of my brothers lived there. And I was confident that I was not going to be tip-baited, because when I showed up to the apartment, I could hear a variety of ladies. I don't know how many was in the apartment, but it sounded like it was Friday night ladies' night. And sometimes you get a natural impression that nothing's going to go wrong depending how things go, and nothing went wrong, and I did receive my tip. In the end, the sushi order was what I expected. It was $8 or 10% of the order, because the order was $80. So that was fine. And the Fulam ended up being a bit more. It ended up making about $15 for a tip. So I went from $27.56 to $29.83. And for those wondering, Uber paid me roughly like $5 for the order. In the end, I was happy with that, considering it did take up to 51 minutes from start to finish. The original order was around 7:03 p.m., so I knew I wasn't going to get that much, so I decided to go home. But it was definitely far more quiet than I expected for a Friday night. Now, to go over the grand totals that I received, so between Uber, between YouTube, and between Amazon, because Amazon was a little bit more, so I got lucky there, I ended up making a total of $71.78. So I was hoping to get a little bit more, but I did not. But we're also going to talk about Saturday. Now, Saturday, it's very simple. We have the long weekend, Labor Day weekend. It was downpouring here, and because my Friday was very quiet, I decided to stay home. But we still have numbers from YouTube and Amazon. For YouTube, $27.46. For Amazon, $9.11. For my grand total earnings for Saturday of $36.57. So if we combine all 3 days together, I ended up securing $178.96 for the last 3 days of doing gig work. We're going to see about how it's going to be happening with gas. This past weekend, I did go to Sherbrooke, which for those that don't know, that's about an hour and a half from my place. Went to go see Grandmama, so that was nice to go and see her. And when it comes to that, it's the gas. In this case scenario, it's my partner's grandmother, so she paid towards the gas towards it. So we're going to still maintain the gas at $45 for currently for the last 3 days that I put into it. And then we have 4 more days to cover. So $178 versus in my last video, I was at $210 3 days in. It's less, but that's because the Friday was less and I didn't do gig work on Saturday, but I don't plan on making that a common thing on Saturdays. Now, for those wondering, because of course I got to save something to the end, how much did I make for the month of August, plus as well for Amazon and YouTube? I guess I can't talk straight. How much did I make for August for Amazon and YouTube? Well, for August for YouTube, this has been one of my lowest months so far. And I have checked back on the history. This is common in August. $612.31. And for Amazon, again, I haven't touched Amazon in 3 weeks. No review videos. My highest so far, $224.43. Combine those two together for my whole month of content creation self-employment, I have made $836.74 that will be paid out towards me for content creation. Now, I am very thrilled with that. YouTube is going to be paid at the end of the month. Amazon is going to be paid 2 months from now, but I already have a 200 coming my way from the previous 2 months, plus a Canada one. It doesn't make sense maybe to you, but another $20. So I'm getting $220 anyways from Amazon at the end of this month too. So it's nice to see the numbers rolling in smoothly. So that's how we've done for the last 3 weeks. So we got some DoorDash, we got a unicorn order. We now have it that in the next couple of weeks, I will be trying to do 2 videos per week. So keep on those notifications. And you know how much I've just made for the month of August. So stay tuned for more videos. I got another one coming up, and I'll catch you lovelies in the next video.